9 bakers remain. We're back in beautiful Tinakilly House in County Wicklow, where the ovens are heating up for the next heat. And I'm grinning like the cat that got the custard cream, because this week, well, it's about one of my favourite things, biscuits. This is the Great Irish Bake Off. Last week, the bakers faced a shock double elimination as we said goodbye to Jenny and David, while Tracy took the title of Star Baker.
I kind of think that Star Baker was last week's news, and it was fantastic, and it gave me a bit of a lift, but really, it's anybody's game now.
Now, only 9 remain.
I think the smaller number is a bit worrying because your chances of leaving are increased significantly, so it's a bit worrying.
You're constantly wondering, is what I've done enough? Because everybody is extremely talented.
Once again, the baking will have to meet the exacting standards of the judges.
Cough it up, it's only a brick.
Author and forager of wild ingredients, Biddy White Lemon.
I think, generally speaking, last week they were wonderful on taste and flavours, but almost all of them at some point last week kind of fell down on the final presentation of the bakes.
And internationally acclaimed pastry chef Paul Kelly.
This week I'm looking for the bakers to take on board what we've been speaking about all along and really expand on their flavour combinations and of course their presentation.
This week is Biscuit Week. Smaller than cakes, more delicate than pies and trickier than pastries. There's more to the perfect biscuit than you may think.
Jesus Christ. Shut. Oh my God, they're gonna tear us to pieces. They're just gonna be so annoyed with us. Oh my God.
We're like the worst technical challenge group in the history of bake-offs.
Paul looks like he's going to cry.
Are you serious? Hello, bakers. Now, I find there are 2 types of people in the world. People who take 1 or 2 biscuits from the packet and put it back, or people like me. This is the signature challenge. We want 24 perfect biscuits. The theme is retro memories, so I suppose we're tapping into the biscuit tin of your childhood. Bakers, you have 3 hours for this challenge. On your marks, get set, bake. This signature challenge requires 12 sweet biscuits, accompanied by another 12 of a savoury variety. The bakers are free to choose any type of biscuit, including any recipes that they have tried and tested in their own kitchens.
I definitely feel like it's a hard task to do. Definitely with biscuits, you need to be spot on with the measurements and the sizes, and the cuts should be really clean and everything should be precisely the same.
Because biscuits, you do think they're going to be really simple, but I suppose because they're simple, then they have to be perfect and every single part of them has to be exactly right. There's really nowhere to hide when all you're making is, you know, a few little circles on a plate.
This challenge, we're looking for precision, accuracy, and of course, consistency.
Each of the 12 batches of biscuits need to be the same size and the same shape. And then, of course, they've just got to taste good. Needs to be thin. It needs to be thin.
Ali's signature bakes are savoury breadsticks with garlic and cheese. Her sweet option is a trio of walnut biscuit rolls.
But everyone in the Czech Republic does it. It's like ladies who don't know how to bake anything. They bake these. I'm like, how hard can it be, right? They wouldn't buy these. That would be embarrassing. Like you would have to be probably evicted out of the village if you would buy these in the shop. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Because I'm not a very tidy person. I'm a bit OCD with other things. But in the kitchen, I'm a bit of a, what's the word? Mess.
17-year-old Alex, our youngest baker, is making Andy Warhol-inspired spelt basil and parmesan biscuits, accompanied by wagon wheels with rosewater marshmallow and chocolate squares.
So I've taken retro as pop art, 50s, hence my comic strip caption bow tie.
Hiya, Poppy.
Hi.
Will we leave you alone? I know. If you wouldn't mint, very good.
Poppy is making savoury feta, mint and basil leaves with sweet vanilla black forest Viennese sandwiches.
I was hoping to hang them off a branch, but I think that might be a bit risky, so I'm just gonna...
A branch?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to.
You told her not to.
I don't think I'll be
I
able
think it's
to.
a risk. If you haven't got the hole in them, you're going to have to...
We've talked about this so many times. It's nice to at least have tried and not regret.
I did though, and I made the hole, and I've tried to put the twine through it, and they just keep breaking, so I just don't think I can risk it. I think they'll break if I do it.
I look forward to what you really decide to do.
I should have just not told
Yeah, that's very
you
difficult
about
because
that.
one judge has said drop it and the other one says go for it. So we're going to leave you with that massive dilemma.
Biddy straight away was like, oh no, don't do that. And Paul was like, oh no, that's a great idea. So I was like, right, well now I have to do it somehow, because he's going to slate me if I don't.
We're all right. We are 42 minutes into the bake.
Yeah, I'm going to start a bit of crochet again, I think. Feels like we've been here forever. How are you finding it, the whole competition, Hazel? Is it tougher than you thought it was going to be? I'm having so much fun. Like, I'm taking their criticisms on board. I'm listening to it. Mm-hmm. They're going to make me a better baker. Yes, yeah. Yeah, my dad said to me the weekend, a master baker isn't born, they're taught, and you're there to learn. Like, well, Dad... How wise. Wise words from your father. Hazel's savoury biscuits are black pepper oat cakes. For her sweet option, Limerick lavender cookies. Lavender, you can't go overboard with it, actually. You have to get the balance just right. So there's literally 1 tablespoon in the whole cookie mixture. And I like the taste of lavender, but it can come across as you're eating a bar of soap.
I rarely make savory biscuits. I don't think many people make them a lot.
Cade has lived in Ireland for 13 years.
he met the love of his life, Rochelle, working at House of Fraser, and she was so impressed by his baking that she encouraged him to enter the bake-off. His signature bakes are sweet chocolate hobnobs and savoury pimento and cheddar biscuits.
In Nigeria, you don't get a lot of cheese because it's very hot. So when I moved to Ireland when I was 12, just the amount of cheese you had and the different types and colours and shapes.
Or cheese
It was just, yeah, it was insane, right? So I've put a really strong cheddar from Cork in there because that was the first place we lived when we moved to Ireland. So just a little bit of a retro memory going in there. And I've kicked it up with some peppers because in Nigeria everything is spicy. The cheese would probably be the thing that lasts the most, like on your tongue after you've tasted it.
We should not have two layers of dough over each other. So they should kind of close beautifully like this. They should not be overlapping. And I'm sealing the edges beautifully, Paul, beautifully.
The rolling out of the dough needs to be perfect so that they're all the exact same size. And I mean, we've been getting slated on things not being precise. So if these aren't precise today, Paul's gonna have another hissy fit.
Bakers, you have 1 hour left.
Right, okay, over toasted. This is becoming a habit.
I wonder, is there too much black pepper? There's a real kick off of that. Not like I can take the black pepper out now, though.
Tell us what's going on in there.
They are Gruyere, pistachio, and rosemary sticks.
You're fond of your pistachio, aren't you? I like pistachio.
I love pistachios.
These are going to be bursting with flavour.
Yes.
And if we pick them up, will we be able to sword fight with them?
Yes.
You've gone brave with a very long shape.
I know,
there.
and I'm standing them up in the jar.
Oh, lovely.
So they'll have to be cool before we start the standing.
Yes.
Okay.
There's loads of time.
Just looking in my oven and willing them to be good.
Is that the fig rolls?
Yeah. I
It's
left
exactly the same.
myself with no pastry to spare. Like, I just took such a risk.
That's fine, you have to have them, don't
I
you?
stopped breathing, yeah. Why do I do this? Like pig plank.
Baking plays an important role in Trassel's life, and today's retro bakes bring back memories of lost loved ones and thoughts of her 5 grandchildren who keep her young and busy in the kitchen.
I think I kind of realised while I wasn't here for the few days that actually how much emotion I put into baking and how much of a release it is for me.
Why is there emotion in your baking?
Baking for me is smells evoke memories. There's a lot of memory of people who have died. For me, it comes out in baking. And then I suppose I let go of grief a lot in my baking. So I find that I've had to remove the emotion because otherwise I just start falling apart. But I've learned to try and manage the whole thing a little bit better, you know.
Okay.
So
And that's changing slowly. I can see it's changing bake after bake. Yeah. You're doing brilliant.
yeah.
Bakers, there's 5 minutes to go, okay? 5 minutes on the clock.
the chocolate set really, really quick. And usually I have like 5 minutes to play with where I can kind of get the sides all neat and, you know, go with a comb over it. But it just started going hard the minute I put it onto the cookies, so I couldn't get them cleaned up.
I put my buttercream into freezer to have it a little bit soft as such, sorry. I kind of forgot about it. So when at the end I was supposed to fill the pastries, it was frozen.
The bakers are applying the finishing touches to this week's signature challenge. Biscuits.
1 minute to go, bakers. 1 minute to go.
I want to open beer. Please.
I have a little bit of experience of opening beer.
Don't. I'm a champagne kind of girl.
Everything's covered in icing sugar at the moment. So I'll have a quick clean up. Done. And that was essentially my cleanup, by the way.
Bakers, time is up. Stop baking.
I can't believe I cooked that same thing so many times. The texture of it was absolutely dire. I find I just seem to be having very inconsistent results compared to what I'd normally bake.
I mean, at the very last moment, one of the basil leaves fell off. Savoury biscuits, and now there's just one in the middle of the frame without it, so it's kind of annoying.
It's not a place to be trying new things for the first time, and that's really what I've been doing since the first week. So I think it'll be a little bit of a miracle if I get through.
I'm really intrigued by your presentation. This is very, very nice, very unique.
Yeah, I just thought kind of going by his art and kind of seeing it was inspired by it, I think it kind of suits to present it on a picture frame.
Very good. But you're missing...
Basil leaf, it fell off at the very last minute and I didn't have time to take it off and put a new one on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love that. That has a hell of a hit of flavour.
Wow, that's really nice. Well done, that's really, really, really good. They're like a muesli bar by the feel of the very... No.
No. I think they're too dry in the mouth.
So I've overcooked them.
No, I don't think. I think you haven't got enough fat to give them a kind of a structure, you know?
That's hard work, Hazel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit medicinal.
And it's a bit, there's a fair sting in the back of my throat now afterwards as well, you know.
Okay. Do you need a little time to draw some water?
I think. Cough it up, it's only a brick. Sorry, that's what my grandmother used to say.
In our referring to the okay.
Thanks,
No.
Biddy.
Yeah.
No. No.
Kicking me while I'm
No,
down.
it's nothing to do with those.
Okay.
You look a bit disappointed.
Well, this is essentially the first time I've put all this together. So a lot of it is just kind of trial and error for the first time. So it's not something I would have served. So it's kind of strange that I'm doing this on national TV. But
This is not the time to be trying something new, I don't think, or something you haven't practiced again, especially with your signature bake. And just to look at these now, it looks like they're all kind of broken.
I think maybe I rolled it out too thin or I handled it too much when I was just really going for consistency there with the shapes.
And then when you look at the hobnobs here, you've got comb done to some of them, and then some of them are missing the comb. They're different sizes.
Yeah.
I think this biscuit is too soft in texture. I want the biscuit to go crack. They're not as crisp as they should be.
They're not as crisp?
No, they're not.
I'll fight you on that one now.
It's not that you're a bad baker here. It's just baking gone bad.
It's baking bad, yeah.
Baking bad.
Bit of baking bad.
And is the filling all the way through?
I can't see inside, Paul.
Oh, okay, well.
But I
Tell him, Ali.
But I hope, that's the idea, but I can't.
Was
I
it
can't
meant
promise
to be all the
It was
way
meant
through?
to be.
Well, as you can see, you've missed, there's quite a vacuum in the centre there.
Was there? Okay.
Yeah, so you can see the air has been trapped in there. So you really have to pipe either one side and then pipe the other.
The only thing that strikes me about this, we've got this beautiful shiny chocolate out of the mould, and then the other chocolate is a wee bit messy around the outside.
It was done rather quickly.
Paul, what do you think of the look of this?
It's almost like a dessert. It's quite big. And if you were to try to dip that in a cup of tea, you're going to be in trouble.
So tell us what we've got inside.
Can I just stop you there now? This is going to be difficult. This should cut like butter. And this is an extremely sharp knife, and it's going to take some pressure. So what I'm concerned about, if you were doing this, you would have to... I like the marshmallow. It's good flavour. The biscuit is quite short, very pleasant on the palate. It's enjoyable to eat when you eventually get through all that chocolate on the outside. Well, I like these. The minute it hits your palate, you get these flavours. You're wondering what they are. You're moving them around your mouth to get nice textures, nice flavours. The only other thing I would say to you about your presentation, hearts are going this way, hearts are going that way. Because you put all the work into these, I would really, I'd take it to the very last one. You'd line them all up just like that.
Okay.
So they're all facing down. And it just looks like precision,
Makes a
military
huge difference.
precision.
Yeah.
It never even occurred to me.
I'm not mad on the flavour. I mean,
Is there too much parmesan in it?
when the parmesan comes through later on, you get the parmesan. But prior to that, there's nothing just but crumb and biscuit, but there's no flavour.
Petit beurre are a French classic, but for some reason they're very common in households in Israel. It says petit beurre maison, so homemade petit beurre.
Well, you're not going to complain about them
That
being
is
soft.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That is
Oh, thank you very much.
crisp. This is lovely. I stand corrected. He was absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten away with not hanging them on the branch after
Do you know
telling
what?
you.
It would have been a shame. I mean, not to have, because you've described them as leaves, biscuit leaves. So you need to kind of bring them up a little bit. On a tray or on a plate, they'd look quite flat. But what you've done is very nice here. Mint.
Yeah.
Wow.
mint and what else is in there?
Basil, feta cheese, and a little bit of walnut.
I think you've just gone a little bit heavy on the salt, right?
Maybe with the feta as well.
I think so, yeah.
Feta
'cause
is really salty cheese, you know. Talk to us about your breadsticks.
They broke.
Well, we can see that. And
Oh,
they are quite fragile.
yeah.
I think you might agree they are maybe too long.
I tried to be clever and make them really long.
Yeah.
They looked lovely when you were making them, but I hadn't realised they were going to break.
What I'm getting here is the Gruyere. It's taken over everything. A little bit of rosemary at the end, but certainly not the pistachio.
You obviously put a huge amount of the cheese in, did you?
Put the same amount of butter as cheese.
Quite
It's
nice.
a cheese biscuit, there's no doubt
I did want
about
it
it
to
at
be a
all.
cheese biscuit.
But that's what we're getting.
To be fair and sticking up for myself, they wanted flavour. They got a black pepper flavour.
It's a crisp biscuit. Biddy said it was soft, which I kind of had a little fight with her about, and I'll have more of a fight later, you know. But I don't think there was anything. I snapped a few of them, and they were very snappy. I don't know where she was getting soft from.
I thought they were extremely kind comments, because if I was the one judging myself, I'd have given much worse than that, particularly for my savoury biscuits. Like, it was just dire. They were rotten.
I think Caddy is struggling. He's been struggling for a little bit, but today I felt he struggled even a bit more than usual.
Yeah.
Trasa, she is struggling a bit today, but it's more to do with her self-belief or the lack of her self-belief. And I think she should stop beating herself up and just do it, because she has more to give than she thinks she has.
Yeah.
Well, for me, Alex is shining. Shane is a very close second at this point for me. And also not to forget Poppy. Poppy's quietly working away in the background.
I know it's easy to forget her because she
It
keeps
is.
herself to
It
herself.
is. But she's consistently good. And she's coming out of her shell a little bit more, which we love to see.
Day 2 and Biscuit Week continues as the 9 bakers prepare to face the technical bake. They have no idea what recipe Biddy and Paul have selected, but they do know that when the baking is over, it'll be time to face the latest eliminations.
It's the time management and the ingredients you don't know and the methods you never practice. Doing a new thing in a stressful environment is not really easy, is it?
Yeah, at the moment I am in trouble. I mean, at the moment, if someone had to go right now, it would be me.
Morning, bakers. This is the technical challenge. Paul and Biddy have chosen something very special that really will test your technical skills. After this challenge, one of you will be crowned Star Baker and one will be sent home. Before you is the recipe for checkerboard cookies, the Rubik's Cube of baking. They require measuring, chilling, and cutting with absolute precision. And I have to say, of all the challenges, this one really does take the biscuit. Paul, tell me about this challenge.
Well, as we've already seen, the biscuit challenge is not as easy as it looks to get right. But if you follow my recipe and my method, you will end up with perfect biscuits which fit perfectly on the slate.
This challenge will be judged blind, so I will ask Paul and Biddy to leave the tent.
Best of luck.
Good luck.
Bakers, you have 3 hours for this challenge. On your marks, get set, bake.
Each baker has been given the basic recipe, but to achieve perfect checkerboard cookies, they will need real technical expertise.
I've never actually even seen one in the flesh. I've only seen a picture of one.
I think this is where the real competition lies, to be honest, in the technicals. Because with the signature bakes and with the showstoppers, you can always embellish, and you do what your comfort zone is. This is the opposite, right? This is where your real skills are being tested.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm good at putting things out properly and precision, so hopefully it'll turn out right.
So, Biddy, this week's technical challenge is the checkerboard biscuits.
And it takes the biscuit.
Yes, it does. If we look at the details here in the biscuit, we've got 5 dark chocolate and 4 vanilla. A nice thin outer layer here of the chocolate on this particular one, and then to complement that, we're dipping the base in dark chocolate.
I seem to be a bit reluctant to read the recipes and to do it.
Well, if they practice that in this one, they're going to spend a lot of time focusing on the assembly, which can be detrimental because it's going to take a lot of time out of the overall bake, which will leave them possibly in a bit of a panic halfway through.
So, to avoid that panic, it's essential to read the recipe thoroughly and allow proper timings for the cooling and chilling process.
I think you're creating logs and then cutting them. I think. I didn't read the whole thing.
I'll ask you another question. This is the base. Does that mean the whole back?
I haven't started looking at that yet. I've only glanced over it.
So I'm making my stuff, get it in the fridge, and then I'll read down and see what's going to happen next.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just mash it in.
Yeah.
A little dough here. My
Yeah.
mission here is to just get this in the fridge and then walk around and have a chat with everybody else.
You mean steal their ideas?
No, well, it's all, there's no ideas. It's a technical challenge. You can't change anything, so.
Okay, no, I'm sure they will tell you. If somebody knows how it's supposed to look,
Yeah.
they'll tell you.
Yeah, we're all great friends in here, so I think someone to tell me how it's meant to look, and then I can start, like, you know, making a plan for measuring and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so each one's 3 by 3, and then you have the layer on the outside, like a Battenberg.
Is it 3 by 3?
The bakers must make 2 doughs, 1 chocolate and 1 vanilla. When the doughs are set, 9 strips are cut out to form the checkerboard. The finished biscuits must measure no more than 5 centimetres by 7.
You have 9 per log, so you have 3 by 3. So you need to work out the dimensions for the square.
But it's not square if it's 12 by 7.
7 wide.
So you're going to end up with a really very technical maths, like it's not 5 into 7, you know, 2 and a bit.
You can fit any amount of, you know, 3x3 rectangles of different sizes in 5x7, and it's just how big he wants the rectangles, how large he wants the border, and he's really kind at breakfast, and then he gives us this. I mean...
Next, the squares are bound together with egg wash, ready to be carefully assembled.
You need to get really even before you put it in the oven, because in the oven it's going to change, right? It's going to rise, it's going to puff up, it's going to go back down. Like, if you don't get it really equal before you put it in the oven, it's never going to be equal after.
This is the moment all men dread. A woman with a ruler in her hand.
What goes through your mind when you have a challenge like this?
It's all about the look of it, getting it looking precise.
Is it something that makes you relax, or how does it make you feel when you're baking?
It doesn't make me relax. I like the kind of satisfaction of creating something. I wouldn't call it relaxing, really. But I don't really like to relax anyway.
Do you not?
No.
Are you somebody that is on the go all the time? Really?
Yeah.
Bakers, you have 1 hour to go, okay? 1 hour remaining.
When the logs are assembled, the judges require 6 perfectly even biscuits from each one.
I actually have something wrong with my brain that I can't get the idea of depth and width.
They should have enough technical knowledge to realise that the egg and the dough mixture will make the biscuits expand during baking. And they must take this into account to achieve the correct dimensions.
Egg is a raising agent, so no matter what size the logs are,
They're
right?
gonna get wonky.
Well, they're gonna
They have to.
grow.
Yeah.
Will this expand at all in the oven?
Not. I really hope not. There's no...
There is egg in it.
Yeah.
There's
no
egg in
rice.
it.
What?
There's egg
It's just
in it.
egg, but not like, there's no...
So in theory, it could expand.
It's going to rise a little bit, I'm pretty sure. And then come back, though.
I see that you're bringing them in and out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Is that important to keep them cool?
Yeah, so to make sure that your biscuits don't, I suppose, lose their shape or shrink when they're baked, you want to make sure that the pastry is cold going into the oven. Then they'll bake from chilled to the oven. Yeah.
Is that all the chocolate pastry you have?
I've 9. Do we need 10?
You need 10 chocolate, 8 vanilla.
Why don't I count properly instead of doing feckin' 9?
You're fine, you're just
I
panicking.
haven't enough.
You do. I'm telling you, you do.
Cressa's helpful rival is Poppy, a student in her final year at Trinity College. She hopes to become a barrister. But today, 2 very different judges will be delivering their verdict on her biscuits.
And you know the way he loves his presentation.
He does, yeah.
What are you thinking? We have a piece of slate, don't
A
we?
piece of slate, yeah. I'm thinking 2 lines of 6.
Okay. That's amazing.
I know, inspired. I don't know where I get it from, to be perfectly honest. I mean, these are kind of like square biscuits with squares in them, you know, so I think he'd like them.
Don't mess around, don't do anything diagonal or...
No, these aren't fun biscuits.
No.
They want to be in lines. They don't want to be mingling.
No.
No.
With the deadline closing in and the first trays coming out of the oven, some bakers are beginning to realise the effect of the egg in the biscuit dough.
Do they spread much?
I don't know. Alex's did.
Because the spread determines how far apart you can space them, isn't it?
Mine started mingling a little bit.
Time is everything in this bake, and some biscuits still haven't reached the oven.
Bakers, we've got 15 minutes left. 15 minutes to go.
Oh my God.
We need to temper chocolate and do all
You need to temper chocolate.
Properly tempered chocolate is essential for good presentation. This involves melting in the microwave for short bursts of 10 seconds and making sure the temperature never rises above 35 degrees.
You're trying to get the right balance of the kind of crystals in the cocoa butter. So it kind of leaves a shine on the chocolate. So you're looking for like a slightly thick kind of consistency so it doesn't fall back into itself immediately.
It's impossible for the chocolate to set on a hot biscuit. So when out of the oven, it's crucial that the bakers must leave time for them to cool.
Well, they're still in the oven. There's about 10 minutes left. And I have to chocolate the bottom of them.
It's imperative for the biscuit to be completely coated with chocolate, but only on one side. However, with so little time, it may be too late to coat any biscuits still in the oven.
And they puffed up. I don't know why they puffed up. Why would they puff up?
This chocolate's taken forever to melt.
Too big! Are you serious?
I'd no reserves yesterday, so this morning I decided I'd do loads of reserves. So I put so many in that they all mashed together. Wouldn't come out. And it just, like, they're a mess, an absolute mess.
This week's biscuit challenge is testing the bakers. They're in the final stages of their technical bake, checkerboard biscuits.
How many minutes?
2.5. Oh. Does anybody have anything ready to put in a slate? I only have 11. It's in the fridge.
Well, just glue it together with chocolate.
But that
Glue it
Yeah,
on.
but it's in crumbs. I can't.
It doesn't matter. Well, glue the bit that's not in crumbs on. Don't be standing there doing nothing.
Bakers, 1 minute to go to plate up.
What? No way.
Yeah. Talk about down to the wire. This is ridiculous. What was I faffing about doing for ages?
Is your chocolate set?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a miracle going on.
Jesus Christ. Bakers, time is up.
No.
Holy shit. I'm really, really upset. I mean, it's possibly the worst thing I've ever baked, and it's really sad to think that that's the thing that people are going to judge me on. So it's really upsetting.
Oh my god, they're gonna tear us to pieces. They're just gonna be so annoyed with us.
So I just seem to do really stupid things each time, things that I should know better. And after each task I say, you idiot, why did you not think about that beforehand? But then I don't think I do a lot of thinking in there at all.
Said that Paul will be devastated at what's coming up in front of him.
The technical challenge is judged on a blind tasting, with Biddy and Paul having no idea which checkerboards have been made by which baker.
It's just, I would say... Oh.
But there's a good
Hang on.
attempt there to get the shapes.
Wait a second.
What are you doing, Paul?
Well, what's happened here is the chocolate's still wet. It's impossible to, without damaging the cookie or yourself, to remove them. They're stuck.
It would be money back time, wouldn't it? I think it's very chocolatey and pleasant to eat.
The chocolate, the dark chocolate is nice, balanced against the vanilla and the chocolate pastry. Unfortunately, I can't taste the white because it's stuck to the slate.
Oh. Well, that's still, sticky.
I keep on going on about presentation, presentation, presentation. And whoever's presented this has literally just thrown them onto the slate. There's been no effort to kind of put them in a straight line for us to judge.
Rough and ready.
The texture of the cookies is really nice. It's beautifully and chewy. There's good flavours coming through there. There's not too much white chocolate, but the white chocolate that's there should be really set. First of all, there is a combing tool used on top here, which we didn't request a combing tool.
No, we did not.
And that looks like to me
It's not adding anything to it, that's for sure and certain.
And again, the baker has covered the presentation side. That's the side you should be most proud of, because it's nice and smooth. And this is the side to dip in the chocolate. Again, yeah, there's good flavour, good texture. Now, again, we're having just, they're stuck together.
And the point is, this is the third week of the bake-off, and inevitably, the challenges are going to become more difficult, and they're going to become even more difficult as the weeks go on.
So when they stick together, you lift up the first one and you're left with this.
Yeah.
And again, this is hard work. I mean, it's sticking to my fingers. It shouldn't. When your chocolate is tempered, it won't melt like this in your hands.
Well, it's the right side up, and they've made an effort with the presentation of it, which is pleasing. But then a mucky pup has gone all over it somehow.
This is just, this is kind of my worst nightmare. I mean, this is just a mess.
And you know, the pity thing about it is that these shapes internally are one of the better ones, and it was just the finishing that seemed to go awry.
I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? May I? Whoever's done these now has decided to go against what we said and dip the biscuit like this and not cover the back.
The thing is, we're the ones who've been creative in the technical challenge. It's your job to do what we told you to do.
You see the kind of discoloration here? It almost looks like mold. That's a temperature thing with your chocolate. Okay, that's called blooming.
Car crash time.
This is pretty rough because look at this here on the outside here.
Well, there seems to be 2 layers there. I don't know. They're all uneven. There isn't a single one. I'm not sure how you could end up like that.
I'll be honest, this looks like someone's already been tasting these before they presented them.
I hope they enjoyed it.
Just look at the sides. There's been bites taken out of that, isn't it? I mean, so I'm not going to taste this one purely because I think at this stage we should be presenting and making a better effort than what's in front of us here. This is somebody who's read the brief. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're a massive improvement. A little bit sloppy with their finishing. There's quite a bit of chocolate here that shouldn't be here. Let's have a taste.
We're stuck again.
I don't know how you're supposed to eat something like that, though. You see what happens?
Now that is a great shame. After all the nice things we said about it, and now it's stuck.
Such a shame.
This is like a half-built Lego house. As a design, it's awful, isn't it?
Stuck to the slate.
Afraid so.
I'm not trying to be funny or smart. That's just... What are you supposed to do with that?
They just obviously panicked, or they didn't read the recipe. But the big mistake was not leaving enough time for the chocolate to set.
Now, Biddy and Paul must rank the biscuits in reverse order, from 9th to 1st place.
Paul looks like he's going to cry. He's like, this is his recipe that he's obviously developed or whatnot, but he looks genuinely upset.
Really embarrassed, I suppose, is my overwhelming feeling. Just absolute embarrassment.
Well, perhaps you'd like to be taken out of your misery immediately. This one doesn't look great. Who baked it?
Do you really need to ask? It was me.
You are in 9th place. This one, kind of at first glance, looked great, but it was very, very sticky to each other and stuck to the slate. Who baked this one? You are in 8th place. Who baked this one? You are in 7th place.
Hazel is 6th, Ali 5th, Poppy is 4th, Shane is 3rd.
Who baked this one? And this one? In this challenge in particular, it was really about time management. Taking that into consideration today, it's in 1st place.
When it came down to myself and Alex, I really was quite surprised. I'm still quite surprised. I'm kind of speechless. I'm wibbling a bit.
The judges will now consider each baker's performance across both days to decide on a star baker and which baker will leave the tent permanently.
Who'd have thought biscuits would be so tricky?
No, people before this challenge were saying, oh, biscuits are easy, anybody can make biscuits. And it's true, plain biscuits are easy to make. When we get to complicated ones, things like these delightful articles, yeah, you need a huge amount of skill.
Everyone made the mistake of not planning. Their time management was atrocious this week.
I think they must have wasted an awful lot of time at the beginning instead of just getting stuck in, reading the recipe and doing it.
And it's important during a challenge like that you never let the momentum slow down at all. It's got to be from the minute you start reading, then you got to keep the pace up, and put pressure on yourself to get finished.
Do you have a clear idea of who's going this week?
I feel I have a clear idea.
Well, I feel the same. I think we probably will feel the same thing.
Of course I'm nervous about elimination. I'm not ready to go home. I don't want to go home.
Yeah, I feel okay. I feel confident that I'm not going to go.
Hello, bakers. What a tough week with the old biscuits. We saw quite a few happy faces and a couple of jammy dodgers. Okay, so our star baker this week is somebody who is, I suppose, quietly working away and impressing our judges mainly with their ability to listen to what Paul and Biddy are saying and taking on board what they're saying. So, our star baker this week is Poppy. And now the horrible news that one of you is going to be leaving the tent. It's not for lack of love, but the person who's leaving the Great Irish Bake Off is Trasa.
I think I've learned the importance really that baking has in my life. I bake for relaxation. I bake to enjoy the results of the baking with others. And once I brought competition into that, it just went out the window altogether. The enjoyment went out the window for a while, and I think that was very obvious in what I was producing.
Trasa, that was always my favourite thing, that you'd say, don't eat that. Don't eat that.
Poppy, for me, is just being quietly working away in the background. Presentation of the tree with the leaves, I was really impressed with that. It was something very unique and very different.
It's nice, because they kind of seemed to think that I was taking what they were saying on board, which, I really have been making an effort to do, so it's kind of nice that that was, recognised.
Well, the bakers for me now have to take a few deep breaths now and really think of where they want to be and what they want to do to get there. It's very, very important that they focus. In the next technical challenge, they need to, again, read the recipe, follow the method, and maybe even just read it again.
Next time on the Great Irish Bake Off.
Biddy and Paul want a spectacular bake.
Absolutely nailed it. Show-stopping.
I've never done this in my life.
I don't know how to do this pastry.
I'm not sure if this is a showstopper. It's not grand enough.
The person this week who's leaving the Great Irish Bake Off is